Hello and welcome to episode 24 of Impacted, coming to you via the Total Nonstop Impact Network. I am your host, Bison, and today I'm joined by the Joker. How you doing, brother?
Hello, children, and hello, Lord Bison. Thank you for joining us live
For the first time ever. This is history in the making, my brother. History in the making. Impacted for the first time ever. TNI-UK going live. So I'm hoping that we're going to get loads and loads of the TNI tribe joining us tonight in the chat. I don't know if there's anybody with us yet, but if there is, let us know.
Hey, J-Bone Smashers Podcast. Hey, Zach.
Oh, yeah, great. Zach Bonifer there. Fantastic, mate. Nice to see you. Did we just see the J-Bone pop up?
Yeah,
from
Smashers Podcast.
Yeah, that was fantastic. So it's great to see you guys. This is very, very exciting for us. Since we started getting involved in the Total Nonstop Impact Network, now just over a year ago, I believe, Joe, wasn't it?
Just over a year ago. This time last year, we were recording episode 10, which was the Rascals, and I just got my TNI hat, the Impacted hat from you.
That's right. I sent you a gift. You're right. I did. It was going really well, wasn't it? At that point, we were having fun. We were doing the character profiles. I think we started with Rosemary, didn't we? And then like you said, we ended up talking about the Rascals around about this time. Funny enough, that was obviously just before those guys have recently moved on to bigger things. So they're going well. Lakers is in the house. So it's
How you doing?
To see you, buddy. Being as loud as ever. So we like to see that.
Good to see you
as well.
Critical Skiing. Oh, it's amazing to see you here. Oh,
fantastic. We've got some serious contenders in here today, haven't we?
You've not joined us on Twitch with him, Bison. You're missing some absolute brilliant character there. Great to see you, Sting.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's fantastic. It's fantastic to see everybody joining us today. Like I said, this is the very, very first time. And I'm so stoked that Trent and Jay and the scumbag and Bill as well have been so gracious in allowing us to do this live episode today. It's very exciting for us. So we're raring to go, really. I think we're looking forward to getting into our review of this past weekend's sacrifice on Impact Plus.
I'll tune in. I'll check it out.
we do love a good Tony Khan, don't we? We do love a bit of Tony. So it's fantastic to see that. Now, first thing I wanted to do was just sort of kind of get a little bit stuck into some of the news, Joe. And I thought what I'd do is I'd pass this over to you. So what are some of the big news and rumor points going around at the moment?
Scott Demore mode with my magic phone with everything on. Right. Firstly, Kylie Ray has announced that she is going to be coming back to Warrior Wrestling to defend one of her titles.
Yep.
I think it's on the 23rd of March. But
yeah, it is. I think it's next weekend, isn't it?
It's pretty soon, and I do know she is still under contract with Impact Wrestling. So whether or not this means she's coming to Impact or not is a long way off for me. But what are your thoughts?
Well, it's interesting because I'm sort of in two minds about it at the moment. I'm pleased that clearly her sort of mental health issues are calming down a little bit. She's feeling confident enough to come back. Excuse me a second. But at the same time, from what I can gather, she is still contracted to Impact Wrestling. Whether she's going to turn up at Impact, remains to be seen. She does still, if you think about it, she still has an outstanding title match.
Yes.
So who knows? Could she turn up? Could she turn up and start, making some headway towards maybe, saying, look, I'm still waiting for my match.
Yeah.
And go after Deanna. You never know.
Look how Deanna wrote her off.
Yeah, no, exactly.
If Kylie Ray comes back, that's what they can build on from there. Deanna Purrazzo said to her that she just turned her tail and ran. So they've already got a door open there. If Kylie Ray is, hopefully, I really do hope she does come back to Impact Wrestling, because if you guys have followed me online, and you know quite just how much it really did hit me when knowing that Kylie Ray had gone. So I'm really pleased with that. But is there anything else?
It's great from her. I think it's great to see that clearly she feels confident enough now within her own sort of headspace to be able to come back and wrestle again.
Exactly.
As far as I'm aware, I mean, she's obviously the current Warrior Wrestling Women's Champion. Is she just coming back? Because I do remember that she did state that she would be looking to come back and fulfill some of her obligations.
Yeah.
Is this one of them? And is it a case of she's just going to come back and possibly drop the belt and, that's it? That she's just doing what she needs to do, what she feels is the right thing. Excuse me. Or, is this going to lead to more? Who knows? What else have we got, Joe?
We've also got, there's been quite a lot of tension brewing between EC3 and Matt Cardona since Matt has come to Impact Wrestling. You follow them both on Twitter, especially. Matt Cardona has a couple of positive things about Impact Wrestling, and EC3 is always there, popping a little bit of a comment or two. And we know how he likes to control people's narratives. So this is quite an interesting point.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because this is very similar to the way that it started to brew with Moose, if you remember. There was just all these different sort of kind of like little social media things that were being said. If you trying to sort of like G Moose up. I mean, at one point he was like, "Oh no, I'm not interested in fighting Moose," that kind of stuff. But it was just small little things. It gradually started to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And what I'm seeing at the moment is very much kind of like these little niggly things that are starting to come through now. Does this mean that possibly Matt is looking to do something in Ring of Honor, or does this mean we might be seeing EC3 appear again at Impact Wrestling? I don't know, but I'm definitely excited and looking forward to find out a little bit more. What about yourself?
I think realistically, because Matt Cardona hasn't said he's committed to Impact Wrestling fully, but he's here for the short term. I think it might be more of a lead for Matt Cardona to go to Ring of Honor. But I really do hope he sticks with Impact Wrestling just to piss Brian Myers off. And any reason to get EC3 or even to use this as to bridge Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling again a bit more.
Yeah. There's another forbidden door that needs opening, right? Yeah,
it'd be a great way to bridge the gap there. Matt Cardona has been fantastic since he's gone to Impact Wrestling. So everything he's contributed, he's helped build up Brian Myers a lot more with Eddie Edwards. He's sold himself as he's wiped the slate clean of Zack Ryder. He's now with Matt Cardona. This is the guy who he is now. And EC3 he's seeing Matt doing that, and he's just like, yeah, you're doing it, but you're not doing it how I would do it. So you're not controlling your narrative how I would do it. It's like if if Eric Young was to be pulling the strings at somebody else. It's an interesting. It's just an interesting situation that's opened up a lot of avenues that and even my head's jumping all over the place trying to think of different things now. So I'm going to stop.
There's so much things. There's so many different ways that this can go. It's going to be very interesting. I don't know what I've got in my throat today. It just keeps getting a bit dry. So I'm glad I've managed to pop myself a little bit of water there.
I have the runs.
I don't know what's going on. I'm definitely getting a bit croaky there. Definitely. Yeah, so I think the EC3 thing is definitely interesting where that's going to go. I'm looking forward to that. What else have we got going on then? Have we got anything else?
There's been a big build between Sami Callihan and Trey Miguel, despite them not appearing at Sacrifice. They've managed to build this on brilliantly. This is something you brought up with me before the show had started, so I thought I'd drop it in here. I know you've been really impressed with how, since Sami Callihan and Trey Miguel have locked horns together. I've loved how they've really brought back that brutal, nasty character that Sami Callihan had. I thought after the match with Eddie Edwards, it was going to be like Sammy's in the abyss again for a while, and they're not sure where to go. But since Trey coming back, lacking the passion, which he doesn't.
Yeah. Hey, Alicia, how are you?
Hey, Alicia.
It's
like it's been the perfect storm to rebuild Sami Callihan and rebuild Trey Miguel.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think we talked about this on previous episodes, where I think that Sami is probably the perfect person to really sort of kind of bring Trey back into the fray. I love the fact they're using this whole, Trey's got no passion thing.
Really, really sticking it to Triple H.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really works well, doesn't it? Is it Triple H or is it?
Yeah, it was Triple H. You said it in an interview.
Are you sure?
With his
sure?
No,
Triple H?
It was just it's someone with a 3-foot nose.
Exactly.
If you guys remember that legendary promo, you know where that's been.
So it's interesting. We definitely know where that nose has been for a long time. So it's interesting to see where all these things are going to pan out. I think this is a very, very interesting storyline. It's brewing up to be something quite special. This past week on Impact, we know that they had a match. I think it was about 15, 20 minutes long.
Yeah, it was about 25 minutes.
Really? It was that long?
Yeah, on airtime about 20 minutes. So match time in general about 25 minutes, half an hour almost. It was almost as long as the main event Sacrifice.
Match time!
Love it. We love a bit of Tommy Dreamer. So I think that it's definitely, without any shadow of a doubt, turning out to be a really good way of bringing Trey back into the front. And of course, Sami being Sami, he is just a total badass, and he loves bringing people through and bringing the passion out of them, doesn't he? He loves it. So I think that we're going to see this continue for quite some time, and I think there's going to be a hell of a match to come at Rebellion. Personally, what it's going to be, I don't know. There's going to be some stipulations in there. Is it going to be like an I Quit match, maybe? Or some sort of kind of stipulation match? I don't know, but I'm excited to see where this one goes, and it's certainly leading a long, long way. Definitely. Have we got anything else, Joe?
Yeah, Jordan Grace has recently revealed her long-term plans after Impact Wrestling. We know her contract is due to expire around about June, but her long-term plan is she's always wanted to go to WWE. But she's not said that this is what's going to happen now and what's going to happen then. And I just got to go sort this dog out. So hang on a second. I'll let you carry on.
No worries. So the Jordan Grace contract. I'm not sure when it's up. I've not seen anything on that one. But what I do know is that she would be quite a big loss, I think, from Impact Wrestling point of view. She is I think over the last 3 or 4 months or so, she's really started to come into her own. I think her personality is growing. Her in-ring, her selling as well is really, really good. I'm looking forward to actually talking about her in a second with her match at Sacrifice, because I think she really made that match. So I'm looking forward to talking about that. I would be sorry to see her go. Let's put it that way. I'd be very, very sorry to see her go. But if she does, best of luck to her. It's exactly the same as what we said with Taya Valkyrie. We loved Taya in the time that she was there, but good luck to her. Good luck to her.
Yeah, I hope Jordan Grace is sticking around a lot longer. I said it to you and Trent before we come on that, Impact Wrestling does need some long-term signing knockouts like we have with Rosemary. And Jordan Grace and Deonna Purrazzo, it could be the next Awesome Kong or Gail Kim, the Taryn Terrell, Gail Kim. They're both so fantastic that they're two wrestlers that I really hope we do see Impact hold on to alongside Rosemary herself.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that Iron Woman match, or the Iron Man match that Deanna and Jordan had a couple of months back was incredible.
Exactly.
And it was just one of the best matches of the year for me. Well, when was, I'm trying to remember when it was.
That was
now.
back in December.
It was. So for me, that was probably one of the best matches of 2020.
Yeah, only outdone by Chris Bay and Rich Swann.
Well, there you go. Yeah, again, another fantastic match. I remember that we had some fantastic matches towards the end of the year. Literally, as they'd already announced, sort of kind of like their awards for the year, and we were like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah,
I wish we'd have waited a bit longer.
Yeah, I was screaming at Scott Demore, please let me vote for Rich Swann and Chris Bay, but no. Scott had his way, threw his paperwork in the air. shut
paperwork out of his back pocket.
Yep, shut the door in my face. So
definitely, he got his headphones and everything. Got around his neck. He wasn't having none of it, and he slammed the door right in your face, mate. Slam that door right in your face. Anyway, so I think that's pretty much all we've got to talk about when it comes to sort of kind of like news and rumors at the moment. I mean, this I think we need to get stuck into the review. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, let's get on with it.
Let's get on with it. Okay, so we started off. Match one was a tag match, and it was Decay versus Reno Scum. Now, when we had the preview, there was Joe, myself, and Simply Steve, guys. Unfortunately, Steve couldn't join us this week. Actually, I want to wish Steve all the best because he's actually in hospital at the moment. Don't know the full details, but he's in hospital at the moment. So wish Steve all the best from us.
Yeah, all the best, Steve.
And we look forward to having you back on the show next week, buddy.
Yeah, it's very empty without you, mate.
Definitely. We like having three people. We want to have a 3-person team again, don't we, mate?
Yeah, it's weird.
It is quite weird. We've had Steve now for 4 or 5 episodes, I think. So not having him here is a bit odd. But okay, so all 3 of us went for a Decay win here. And what's interesting is obviously Decay did end up winning after Rosemary sprays the mist into Luster's eyes. We get the Taurus driver on Adam Thornstowe to get the 1-2-3. I thought it was a great match. I think both teams really shone, in my opinion. But Taurus, for me, now that man stands out as a performer for Decay big time. I think his athletic ability, his prowess, his whole demeanor and character are just perfectly suited for the Decay faction. And his athleticism in the ring really shines through, doesn't it, Joe? Really shines through.
It's absolutely incredible. He's getting better and better every week. And Reno Scum put on a fantastic match as well. They weren't made to look weak. Luster, the legend, pulled off some really, really impressive moves. And Adam Thornstowe, his combination moves are amazing as they were. But just some of the stuff he managed to chain together and have Crazy Steve countering everything too. They put off some great work together, those two on their own. So this is if this builds into a bit more of a bigger rivalry between Decay and Reno Scum, then I'm all for it. These teams are two that, especially Reno Scum, they're always so low down on the ladder. And Steve mentioned this as well. They're so low down on the ladder in the tag team division. They don't seem to be getting the credit they're due. And this match just proved just how good Reno Scum actually are, even though they lost the match.
Yeah, I think in fairness to those guys, I think in the moment. With Adam being a key worker, I think it's holding them back a little bit as a team at the moment. I think once we start coming out of the pandemic and we start to see more people coming to watch the shows in the arenas, etc.
Yeah.
And it all sort of dies down a little bit. I'm sure Reno Scum are going to get.
Hey, Steve's here. How you doing, Steve?
Hello, buddy.
We miss you, man. Hope you're good. Hope you're well.
We just gave you a shout out, fella. We just gave you a shout out. I hope you're feeling well.
Oh, that's good to see.
It is good to see. It's good to see the man. It's good to see Simply Steve here. He's a great guy, and we definitely wish him well. Where are you, man? Let us know where you are. Are you still in your hospital bed, or have you got home yet? Where are you? Let us know. So now, what we were saying with Reno Scum is, I think that because of the current situation, that is what's holding them back a little bit. It's a shame, But, you can't potentially give someone a push if all of a sudden the next set of tapings, one half of that team isn't able to make it.
Yeah.
We found that obviously with Alex Shelley as well. He's a key worker. So it was very difficult for him to continue at Impact Wrestling at the time. I'm sure he's going to come back, which would be great. However, I am enjoying Beer Guns at the moment.
Yeah.
So that's all really, really good. But yeah, no, it's a great show. It was a great match. I think everyone got in some good stuff. We got the standard standing moonsault from Adam Thornstowe, which is amazing. Luster is just an absolute powerhouse. But I think him against Taurus was just that was a matchup, wasn't it? I mean, it was really good. And of course, this past week on BTI, we got to see Black Taurus versus Luster the Legend going at it one-on-one, didn't we?
That was an incredible match too. If you guys haven't been checking out BTI, I really do recommend you do watch it if you can before Impact Wrestling starts itself. But the matches on there, that they're linking into the whole card perfectly. It's not just some random slap this together and see what happens type scenario. Next week we've got Alicia Edwards versus Tasha Steeles there. So it's all interlinking perfectly, and the Luster the Legend versus Black Taurus was absolutely amazing on VTI.
Yeah, no, that was one hell of a match. It was one hell of a match, and I think it's one of those points where they can sort of kind of really showcase the talents of both of those guys, and I think it was a great match. It was a really, really great match. And again, this tag match was also absolutely fantastic. And again, like you said, Decay win. Now, at the moment, Decay are really on a bit of a winning streak, aren't they?
Yeah, the only loss really has been when Taurus didn't win that X Division title match, or the X Division number one contenders match. And I think there's been one other pin beforehand. I think, Crazy Steve got knocked out by Larry D.
Yeah, exactly. It was. I just think that at the moment, they are really they're really pushing Decay. I think they're giving them, they're giving them a perfect sort of kind of platform to start getting those wins under the belt, pushing that faction. And I think Reno Scum is the perfect platform to do that. So I was really impressed with this match. I really, really enjoyed it. We all went for Decay for the win, and we all ended up right. So that's fantastic. Good start, boys. Good start. So we then moved on to match 2 quite swiftly. We didn't have much going on in between. It was just straight on into the next match, which was Tennille Dashwood with Caleb and Caleb with a K versus Havoc and Nevaeh. Now, Joe, on this one, you went for Havoc and Nevaeh. Steve went for Tennille and Caleb. I went for Tennille and Caleb on this one. What was interesting on this one was that Caleb comes to the ring with a neck brace. But to be fair, that didn't last long, as Nevaeh ripped that bad boy off pretty early. I think everyone got some really great offense in, but it's just, I don't know, it's just not to be really for Tennille. Eventually, it's just not to be for Nevaeh and Havoc, and Tennille eventually steals the win for her team, rolling up Nevaeh. Again, it's Nevaeh on, being the one being pinned, isn't it?
Yeah, so, it's disheartening for me because I'm such a big fan of her.
Yeah.
It's like if Alicia Edwards loses a match, you feel so sorry for them, not to patronize them, but because you love the character so much.
Yes, I agree.
It's like you are literally seeing a friend lose.
I think it's clear what they're trying to do here. They've sort of kind of like, we've had this thing where Nevaeh is sort of always the one getting pinned in the tag team of Havoc and Nevaeh.
Yeah.
She felt that she was like the weak link. They sort of kind of like come back together again to see where they go from there. And again, Nevaeh gets rolled up. Is this going to potentially lead to a feud? Is it going to be a case of Nevaeh wanting to prove herself to Havoc? And then we end up with, a friend versus friend feud. What do you think?
Yeah, it's the most likely outcome, and it's the one that really makes the most sense. That they won the match this week with the 6 knockout tag team match. But going back to Sacrifice, Nevaeh's lost again, and she wasn't 100% on board with going back with Havoc to begin with. It was more, let's just do it and shut these two people up. Oh, as D'Lo Brown put it, let's get back together, punch her in the face, and move on.
Yeah, exactly. I do want to mention actually, the commentary from from Sacrifice was again absolutely top notch, wasn't it?
Yes, I watched the whole Sacrifice event again over the last 2 days, last night and this morning, and the commentary really does engage you so much. And what do you guys think of the commentary team? Do you think they've really finally got that old school TNA fun feel again that I just about missed out on? But even I can feel the vibes from then.
It's almost like it's Mike Tenay and what was the guy, Don West. It's almost a bit kind of Don West, Mike Tenay, because Don West got so enthusiastic. He totally drew you in. He was so excited about what was going on in the ring, and I get that vibe from Matt and D'Lo.
Yeah, both of them were just so passionate. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think it's amazing.
Cheers, boss.
Absolutely love them. Cheers, boss. We're doing well. We're representing. We're doing the best we can. So it's all good. So for me, this was a good match. I'm not sure where it's going to go, but I'm excited to find out. So it's going to be interesting where this one goes. Now, once this one obviously ended, we then got a bit of a backstage segment with Eddie Edwards pumping up Rich Swann backstage. With regards to his title unification match against Moose. Now, I actually really like this because it shows that sort of kind of that camaraderie, that locker room leader side of Eddie Edwards. And being a fan of Eddie Edwards, I know he's not the best promo guy in the world, but being a fan of Eddie Edwards, I really enjoyed this promo or this sort of kind of backstage moment. I thought it was really good. What did you think?
Eddie Edwards he's one of my favorite wrestlers on the roster and one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. He is the locker room leader. No disrespect to Madison Rayne, and
she's not there. She's retired. It's got to be somebody.
I know, but his promo work now is like what Tommy Dreamer would be doing if this was Eddie Edwards in his position. So you can see how Tommy Dreamer has rubbed off into Eddie Edwards. And Eddie Edwards is now rubbing off onto Rich Swann. So it's also putting Rich Swann over a lot more just with words rather than with in-ring action.
Yeah, definitely.
Tommy built up Eddie Edwards. Eddie's building up Rich Swann. And my God, if Rich Swann gets built up anymore, he's going to be unstoppable.
Without doubt. I mean, I've said on many occasions that I've never been overly convinced on Rich Swann when it comes to his promo work. But actually, more recently, I've sort of started to eat my words on this one, and we've spoken about that a few times now, haven't we? Recently, I keep saying, I've never been totally convinced, but my God, this week he was great, and it just seems that over time he's improving and getting better and better, and I'm a big Rich Swann mark, I really am. So I thought this was really cool, and I really enjoyed watching this section. I thought it was really good. So we then moved on into match 3. Now, this, I suppose, has to be the first sort of kind of like big surprise match of the night. I always thought this was going to be a hard-hitting, good match. As we all know, I make it extremely clear week after week, James Storm is my man. So I'm, whatever happens, I'm excited to see a James Storm match. So Steve, I think you went with Violent by Design. We had Joe going with Violent by Design. I think I was the only one on this occasion that went for Beer Guns. And unfortunately, I came up short on this one because, as we know, Violent by Design get the win. Now, what I wanted to say on this one, though, was obviously we had Violent by Design is the 3 Eric Young, Doring, and Diener. We had obviously the pairing was Joe Doring and Diener with Eric Young, obviously ringside. We had Jake something come ringside with Storm and Saban. So it sort of kind of evened it up. He was watching their back, which was great to see. I mean, Jake is incredible. So I'd love to have seen more. I'd love to have seen him wrestling on the card, to be honest, because Jake something is a stud and is an incredible talent, absolutely incredible talent. But this match itself was incredibly intense. I'm not going to lie. As I've always said, I am a huge mark for James Storm, so I'm all over that. One thing I will say is that there were some incredible power moves coming from Joe Doring in this match. A couple that sort of kind of stood out for me was there was a crossbody which would have basically taken out a Bison. It was incredible. There was a top rope elbow from him as well, which I thought would just killed somebody. But what you got from Saban in this match, though, is his usual fast, so fast. I mean, the guy's in his early 40s, but moves like he's in his 20s. He hasn't slowed down at all, so you get high flying, fast moves from him, which I thought was great. But eventually, obviously, the match itself breaks down. We got Jake getting involved. We finally get the shock or one of the shocks of the night, but the first one of the night, which was, of course, Rhino coming out, becoming the next guy to join Violent by Design. He gores Chris Sabin. Dina rolls him up, gets the pin. Violent by Design get the win. And what do we see? Well, we see Rhino, joining Violent by Design. I mean, it's just, standing side by side, and it looked so right.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It just looked so right. It was a shock because of the character that we've seen from Rhino, since he's come back to Impact Wrestling. But it just looked so right, didn't it, Joe?
Yeah, I watched this live, so it was about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning or something when I was watching it. So I had to cover my mouth to stop me from screaming, "Oh my fucking god!" When Rhino came out just to begin with, I thought he was going to come out and then take out Violent by Design. As soon as he stopped in the ring, I thought, no, bang! Oh my god! God! And it was the reaction that you wanted, and you just wish there was a crowd there, because I could imagine the crowd's reaction. Never mind everyone around the world. Their reaction.
Nobody expected it. Nobody expected this to happen.
No.
I know that I've been putting a theory out there for quite some time that what happened with Violent by Design and Heath in that room. Everyone just assumed that they gave Heath a beatdown, but really, did they, or did they recruit Heath? This is the thing. Is Heath also in Violent by Design? When he comes back, will he be by Rhino's side, by EY, by Dina's side in Violent by Design? I'm going to say it is going to happen.
I'm going to say he's not. I'm going to say if you follow his reaction on as soon as he saw that, and follow his reaction since, he's still the good guy, Daddy. He's the good guy, baby. He's got his kids to look after. He's not going to set a bad example for his kids, is he?
Well, you say that, my friend. You say that, but this is wrestling, and anything can happen in wrestling, Joe. You could be the nicest guy one week, and then the following week you could just be an absolute animal beast that wants to destroy everybody. You could. Look at Rhino. Rhino, a month or so ago was the best guy. He was standing up to Violent by Design, and sacrificed. Now he's standing by their side.
It makes me wonder where that trophy's going to go.
Well, I mean, there's another thing. I mean, maybe he hands that trophy over to Doran and Dina, or maybe you imagine putting Joe Doring, and Rhino together as a tag team.
Oh, I that would be awesome. But I think if the Doring and Dina, if they're going to make Violent by Design go for the tag titles, they're the two who should go for it.
I agree, but it's really interesting.
They got a 4-man stable. It's like the biggest, nastiest 4-man stable we've seen in wrestling since Evolution. I'm sure guys can probably pick some guys from WWE, AEW, or even TNA. But for me, like the last big stable that stands out to me is Evolution, the WWF. 4 big names and 4 up and coming names, and they had Randy Orton in, and we've got that now. Joe Doring is ironically the up and coming guy for Impact Wrestling, although he's a veteran from Japan. Cody Dean has been hit and miss everywhere. He's also the up and coming talent there too. And we've got the 2 veterans, Rhino and Eric Young. And Eric Young's the puppet master pulling all the strings like Ric Flair was. And Rhino's just there to smash the shit out of everybody.
I think the bottom line is, I mean, it was when D'Lo started going, it was just amazing. So at the end of the day, that was the first big shock of the night, I think, when we saw Rhino, that we haven't seen for several weeks leading up to this. Was definitely interested. I'd like to see a video vignette of it, though. I'd like to see them, taking Rhino to the prison or whatever it was.
Yes. How did they do it? So how did they do it?
Exactly.
Proud as a peacock.
Exactly. Proud as a peacock. So I'd like to see how it all happened. Whether we will, I don't know, but I would like to see that. So that was the first big shock of the night. We then go backstage, and we've got Gia Miller is catching up with Brian Myers ahead of his hold harmless match. That's a hard thing to say. Try and say that after a couple of vodkas. Hold harmless. They had a hold harmless match with Eddie Edwards, and what Myers is seen then sort of kind of like paying Hernandez some money, which leads to everyone to believe that obviously, he's going to be going to assist Bad Mood Brian in the match.
Well, pirate.
Exactly. Bad Mood. Yes, I can actually do a very good pirate impression. So, Bad Mood Brian. But it is good to see. I really like this Bad Mood Brian thing, because I think it's the Impact Wrestling take, obviously, on Bad News Barrett, which I think is really cool. So I really like it. I think it's working really, really well. I'm loving the whole pirate eyebrow, eye patch with the M on it and everything. I think
that's not how you handle your business. Calm down. Don't do this.
No, exactly, Brian. Now, come on, son. But it's really good to see the way this sort of kind of storyline is developing. So we then head into match 4, which of course is the hold harmless hardcore match between Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers. Now, when we talked about this in the preview, you went for Eddie Edwards, Joe, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
I went for Eddie Edwards as well, and Steve was the only. I think Steve went for Brian Myers. So interestingly, it's funny because in the back of my mind, I thought that they might put Brian over in this, but at the same time, Eddie is the king of hardcore in Impact Wrestling, and he's got to win because if there was ever going to be a hardcore championship in Impact Wrestling, Eddie Edwards is the man, right?
Yeah.
So, hard hitting, get Kenny the kendo stick out there. Fantastic. It's good. And I honestly thought there could be a chance that Brian would win this match. But, I don't know. But as we know, Eddie ends up winning. So we basically get a hard-hitting, hardcore match with both guys looking pretty badass. But what we come to expect from Myers, of course, is, he's not going to do this alone, because Hernandez turns up, interferes with the match, and, of course, who comes out to help Eddie? But Brian's so-called best friend, Matt Cardona, makes a save for Eddie. Eddie then gets a win over Myers. So, interesting stuff here. I mean, this past week on Impact, when we saw the fallout, Brian again is not very happy with his best mate. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure where this one's going. I'm assuming that come Rebellion, we're going to see some kind of hardcore match between Brian Myers and Matt Cardona. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this one, Joe?
Yeah, it's definitely keeping Matt Cardona relevant, and which is what I was really questioning. How are they going to keep Matt Cardona going with because I know he's due for the next set of tapings. It's just what are they going to do with him, and where's he going to go? But to keep him and Eddie Edwards and Hernandez and Brian Myers all mixed up like this still, it's working perfectly. It's not being drawn out too much. And Matt Cardona, he made his appearance in this match really, really brief, literally just to go in there, get Hernandez out of the way, and let the match carry on. And he then clarified exactly why he did it this week on Impact Wrestling. So they're not outshining Myers and Eddie Edwards by bringing Matt Cardona in. They're keeping him in there for story progression, and the match itself was awesome. It was a lot more technical than I expected it to be. Because we've seen Eddie Edwards in the Barbed Wire Massacre, and a majority of matches Eddie Edwards has been where it's been hardcore. He's just gone flat out hardcore. But Brian Myers tried to get him on his game rather than going full up weapons everywhere. There was that technical ability that I did predict was going to come, and there was a lot of it. And we did get that lovely appearance from Kenny though.
We did.
Yeah.
Kenny did make an appearance, which was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, but Eddie Edwards ended up going into the ring apron. That was really devastating. That dragging him into the ring. That was one of the hardest parts to watch of the match. And the backpack stunner through the table. It was one of the best things I've seen for ages. It's like I wish I could do that to Brian Myers. Why he's so grumpy with everybody.
Do you know what? Tonight I've had my latest batch of Pro Wrestling Tees t-shirts turn up. I've got my Violent by Design. Hang on, let me move that. I've got my Violent by Design. I'm Violent by Design t-shirt on. This is the first time I've worn this one tonight. But I was actually going to wear my Brian Myers tonight. But I'm glad I decided to go with this Violent by Design one. But I think it's showing up quite nicely on the video screen there.
That you don't want a shirt of a loser.
That's very true. See, now what I should have done was put my Eddie Edwards one on.
Oh, yes, that would have been good. So then I would have marked out.
But so it's very, very interesting to see where they go with it. And like I said, I think this is all building to some sort of like serious grudge match of some sort between Matt and Brian Myers.
Oh, definitely.
At Rebellion, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's definitely going to lead to a big match between Brian Myers and Matt Cardona, and that's probably where we'll see Matt Cardona either stay around or depart to wherever he's going. But it's building up to another big match to put Brian Myers over, regardless of win or lose. So they're keeping Brian Myers relevant. Like I said, Matt Cardona is there, but he's not pushing Brian Myers out the spotlight as much as everyone thinks he is. If you actually go back and watch the matches and go back and look at all the interaction and that, it's all evenly balanced. It's just how everyone's perspective is their first impression. So you watch it again, then you see was I right? Was I wrong? But it's just such a great time to be watching Impact Wrestling with all these guys coming in and going and hopefully staying.
I think what's interesting when it comes to Brian Myers and Matt Cardona is that we've seen for the past, certainly obviously Brian Myers is famous for his losing streak, with the Up North company, as we say on TNI. But of course, Matt Cardona is synonymous with the Zack Ryder, Long Island IC and all that kind of stuff role, where he was kind of, I don't know. The type of match I think that he wants to have, he was never allowed to have.
Exactly. Definitely.
I've got a feeling that this is leading to something that we will have never seen before from Matt Cardona, which will be some kind of hardcore style grudge match. Now, what that's going to be, I don't know. But I think that's where this is going, giving his fans something that they would never have seen before.
Yeah.
You know, and of course that will help him make new fans too.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's something like a cage match because we've been a while since we've had a massive lockdown match, so that would be the perfect one for me.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. You know, I think the bottom line is, you know, any of these guys that have come from, you know, the up north company, are clearly wanting to do stuff that they've never done before.
Exactly.
So, and they're getting that opportunity to do it in Impact Wrestling. I think we need to support that. You know, there's so many people that are like, oh, we don't want to see Zack Ryder, he sucks, blah blah blah. But you know, does Zack Ryder suck? You know, does Matt Cardona suck, or did his character, you know, was it his character that we didn't like? You know what I mean? Like, you know, and I think what we're hopefully going to get to see is a completely different side to Matt Cardona, and me, I'm all for it. I'm all over it. You know, let's see what this man can do. Let's see what this man wants to do. Come Rebellion, let's see a hardcore, badass stipulation cage, barbed wire match. I don't care what it is, but let's see this guy do something that we would never ever seen him do in the past 16, 17 years that he was up north.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's all start trolling Scott D'Amore now. Get that match on paper.
Get it done. Get it signed. It may already be signed for all we know. But yeah, so you know, I'm all for it. I think these guys are doing fantastic. They're bringing a lot more eyes to the product, so it's great. What we then move on to, of course, is the first knockouts tag title match of the evening. So match 5, we got Fire and Flavor versus Jordan Grace and the incredible OG Jazz. Now, if I remember rightly, Joe, you went for Grace and Jazz. I think Steve went for Fire and Flavor, and I went for Fire and Flavor on this one. Because I just feel that, you know, if you're going to stick a tag title on these guys, they've got to beat a few people before they lose it.
Whose uncle is this? If the 80s don't come back and get their uncle for real.
Do you know what? That is actually one of my favorite promos or backstage segments that those guys did. I absolutely love that segment. I thought it was brilliant. Anyway, so Grace comes out of the gate, all guns blazing. Can you do that, Joe? Can you do it?
Oh,
brilliant. We need to. I tell you what, actually, TNI Tribe. What we need to get you guys to do is some sound bites of your own. Right? Let's see how many of you guys we can get putting up baka on Twitter. Let's get it on Twitter. Tag TNI. We Talk Impact. Yeah, and let's get that up there. Let's get that trending. And let's hear all you guys giving it a go.
Who booked this?
I think it'd be great. Anyway, so what we got was Jordan Grace coming out of the gate, all guns blazing. Tasha slows the pace down a little bit because I think she maybe raked the eyes or something, or I don't know. She managed to slow it down, get that pace slowed down, and we got to see some really cool offense from Tasha. You know, she's not a big girl, but she's fast and she packs a punch. And I gotta say, I was very, very impressed in the way that she handled Jordan Grace in this match. I thought she was really, really good. We got Kira obviously coming out. I think we got to see some really good, quick sort of kind of tag team wrestling, a lot of quick tags, keeping it fresh. I think it was really good. Really enjoyed that. We eventually got to see Jazz. She eventually came into the match. I think it's very clear that she's got a limited offense now, but still able to perform what she can very convincingly. So for me, she stood out really well. But I think what really stood out for me in this match was Jordan Grace, who just looked the complete package of power and speed. She just looked fantastic in this match. What are your thoughts on this match, Joe?
Yeah, Jordan Grace was absolutely outstanding in this match. Yeah. You know, and if anyone thinks, you know, that performance is not a performance of someone who is looking to be going in a couple of months' time. in my opinion. You know, she was just absolutely incredible in this match. The match itself was absolutely brilliant.
It was just end-to-end stuff, wasn't it, Joe?
Yeah,
it was so good. You know, it was so fast. It was, you know, like I said, it was just a really, really outstanding match. It was one of my favorite matches of the night. And it was great to see Jazz, you know, the OG, getting in there and doing the business, which was good. But for me, if you wanted to talk about kind of like the standout performer in that match, it was Jordynne Grace. For me,
definitely, yeah.
You know, she was amazing. You know, that's not taking anything away from Kira or Tasha or even Jazz. You know, but Jordynne just is so good that she really shines in pretty much every single match that she's in, particularly in this one.
Kira Hogan did an amazing job too. She reminded everyone just how good she is. You know, people were still downplaying her for a little while after she became tag champion. You know, but she's been such a mainstay player for building up other characters over the years, and she's now proven to everyone, this is why I am the tag champion. This is why I am where I am. And Tasha Steelz has just gelled in so perfectly with Kira Hogan. It's been one of the best signings of 2020 was bringing Tasha Steelz into Impact Wrestling.
Definitely. And so what we end up with is obviously Kira gets the 1-2-3 on Jordynne Grace to retain the Knockouts tag titles. So Fire and Flavor go ahead. You know, they move forward as the tag team champs. And, you know, not only do they move forward, but Kira also pins Jordynne Grace, which is amazing. And for me, that really puts over Fire and Flavor big time.
Definitely. Does anyone know what the name of that finishing move is? It's something that's always been bugging me. I don't know what the name of Kira Hogan's finishing move is.
Badass move. I got no idea. I can't remember.
I have no idea what it is.
Guys, let us know. I bet Critical Sting knows.
Yeah, Critical Sting's always got the extra knowledge, so
he's going to know.
Let us know.
Let us know. What's the name of Kira Hogan's finishing move? It's pretty badass. Okay, so we then go to backstage. We've got the lovely Gia Miller. She tries to get a word with Moose, you know, before the huge title unification main event tonight. Moose says, you know, he's done enough talking and literally just walks off. You know, and I actually quite liked it because he sort of almost like turned away, didn't he? You know, she was trying to get in and, you know, can I get a word? And he just literally blanked her. And it's just the way that he did it. I thought he sold it really well. You know, yeah, he does his talking in the ring, which is funny because he's been doing quite a lot of talking.
Yeah, I think he's finally taken Scott Demor's advice on board. Just shut up and get the job done.
Exactly. Shut up, get in the ring, get the job done. So that was an interesting sort of kind of segment there. And I guess it sort of created a bit more tension leading up to that main event. So we then
it had me doubting then if Rich Swann was going to win because Moose. I picked Rich Swann to win, but when Moose had that such cold atmosphere, the intimidation factor shot up just in that segment. So Moose didn't need to talk to make that segment work. And then after seeing that daunting moment, it's like, oh Christ! So is Rich Swann going to win this match?
Oh yeah, exactly. Oh, by the way, thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. Kira's finishing move is Face the Music. That's right.
Thank you.
Face the Music. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that, my friend. A fellow TNI brother there. Fantastic. Okay, so let's move on from that one. We're getting into match 6 now, and this is the X Division title match. Now, this is TJP versus Austin Aries. Joe, you went for
Ace Austin.
Ace Austin. Austin Aries, what we're talking about. Ace Austin. Joe, you
It's been a bangorama.
It very well has. And I think we all went for Ace Austin on this one, actually, to be fair. And for me, this was going to be always going to be contender for match of the night. Now, you have the veteran title holder TJP, who, at the end of the day, whenever he performs, he's just flawless. He's a flawless wrestler. I love watching him perform.
Good for you.
Regardless of some of his politics. But he is a fantastic performer. I really, really enjoy him. He's from, and of course you've got Ace Austin, who is the young, up and coming future of the business.
I'm gonna bang his wife.
He likes banging people's wives. He is one. He's just never going to disappoint. This match was never ever going to disappoint. It was a fantastic match. I really, really enjoyed it. I think we got to see. I think if you're a wrestling fan, you get to see pure wrestling. You get to see high fly, high octane, submission moves. I mean, you've got to see pretty much everything there is for a wrestling fan. So you had everything. It was a bit like a fruit salad.
Oh yeah,
it was all in there. It was all in there in that fruit salad of wrestling. I thought this was a fantastic match. And of course, it all ended with a fold. Well, it inevitably ended with a fold and a win for the now two-time X Division champion, Ace Austin. It was inevitable, wasn't it, Joe?
It's been a bangorama.
It was not just a bangorama; it was also just a redemption. Because during the match, Matt Striker and Gino Brown touched on that TJP was the man who ended Ace Austin's undefeated streak in Impact Wrestling, which is something I'd actually forgotten about.
I forgot about that actually. Until Matt brought that up. Yeah,
and so when Ace Austin won, I was thinking, this is perfect because they're going to have a round 3 now, where I think they are next week actually. So it's just a great way to cut the story off between TJP and Ace Austin now as well. After next week, and the match itself, from start to finish, it was very clean as well. You'd expect Madman Fulton to get involved a bit more, but Ace Austin had kept him at bay the week beforehand.
No, exactly. It was a clean match.
It was great. And
the thing is with this kind of match as well is I think if anyone had interfered in it, it would have just ruined it. And when you put guys like TJP, Ace Austin in a match, you just got to let them go. Yeah. You've got to let them go regardless of who wins. Everyone, the fan is a winner. The fans are winners when you get a match of people like TJP and Ace Austin. There is no doubt about that. And I got to say, I'm over the moon that Ace Austin is now a 2-time X Division champion. As much as I admire and love TJP as a performer, Ace Austin is the future of this business. And so the strap on that man is exactly where it needs to be, without any shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, I have to agree. He's got plans already for what to do next with this title as well. He's let that leak once or twice in hints on Twitter. He's got option C, which I was hoping that would be nipped in the bud now and dropped. But if Ace Austin can use that and go on to become the youngest ever world champion, if it's against Kenny Omega, if it's against Rich Swann, if it's against anyone, Ace Austin deserves to be world champion, especially after that match for the X Division title. I'd like to see him somehow get Triple Crown status, because Madman Fulton's got to be used somewhere, and Ace Austin and Fulton, their tag team successes can't be ignored. They were AEW tag team champions last year.
No, totally. We can't. They can't be ignored without any shadow of a doubt. I totally agree with that. But anyway, I mean, it was a fantastic match, and it definitely was a contender for match of the night. If you were a casual wrestling fan, you tuned in, thought, what's all this about, and that was a match that was playing. I don't think you would have turned off.
I watched it again this morning or this afternoon, and I couldn't take my eyes off the match. I couldn't, it was just so good.
Yeah, fantastic match. Absolutely fantastic. We then go to backstage where we found that Tennille Dashwood and Caleb with a K it's interesting, this Caleb with a K thing, because my son's called Caleb and it's with a K. So there you go. So Tennille Dashwood and Caleb with a K stumble into Swingers Palace, of all places. And we get, Tennille disrespects Alicia, which then leads to the two of them wanting a match against each other. And that's sort of like kind of, we then move on to match 7. Obviously, this is going to go a little bit further. A little bit later, so we'll get to that in a minute. So let's crack on with match 7, which is the Knockouts title match between Deonna Purrazzo and ODB. Bam! And I have to say that I am such an ODB mark from the old TNA days. That it doesn't matter what this woman does. I absolutely adore her. So I think she's fantastic. I think Zach Bonifer done some fantastic gifs of my face on ODB.
Oh yeah, I've seen 1 or 2 of them.
Have we seen 1 or 2 of those?
Oh yeah.
Let us know in the chat, guys. How many of you have seen the Bison is ODB on the gifs? It's a very interesting gif. It's quite scary. To be honest, it is quite scary. But yeah, so if you definitely
be in jail, yes,
that's right. So in this one, Joe, you went for Deonna, Steve went for Deonna, and I actually went for ODB, just because, and probably the nostalgia thing, but also because I just thought it'd been really cool to see ODB, even if it was just for a very short time. Walk around with that really lovely belt on her shoulder. I thought it would have been really cool.
Yeah, my heart was ODB, but then it would be to have it for a short while, just for Deonna Purrazzo to win it back again. There's no sense in it.
No, I get that, but for me, it would just been awesome.
But a 5-time knocked up champ would have been awesome.
It would 5 times knocked up champ. But I was looking forward to this match a lot, and it didn't disappoint. It was exactly what we expected. We had ODB come out. Deonna comes out, obviously, with Kimberly and Susan at ringside. I mean, Brandon Toll didn't put up with their shenanigans long. Exited them. See you later. And rightly so for getting involved. Rightly so. We then get a treat from both ladies. ODB proved she's still got something in the tank. Without any shadow of a doubt. We saw the Dirty Dozen. What a classic. We saw loads of classic ODB offensive moves. But ultimately, the Virtuosa was just too much for ODB. And Deonna gets the win. Retains her title. And obviously continue the era of the Virtuosa. But it was a great match. It was end-to-end stuff. Both
indeed, Steve.
Oh my God, I can't believe it. Yeah, that makes it. You're right. 1 Dirty Bison, but never mind. It was a great match, and I absolutely loved it. What were your thoughts on this match, Joe?
It was the first half was really varied and very solid, and I think after the shenanigans with Kimberly and Susan, you'd hoped it would go a bit more in ODB's favor, but then to me, it slowly started to go back to how it played out with Taya Valkyrie and Deonna Purrazzo at Hard to Kill. It seemed for a very short while to be one-sided. But I watched it back again this afternoon, and my perspective on that was blown swept under the carpet straight away. I watched it the first time. I was like half awake, so I was like, "This is it." So I'm glad I did watch Sacrifice the second time, because it was a lot more evenly matched than I'd originally seen. And ODB, I've always been amazed at how well she can still go and how much she's improved over the since she's come back. And Deonna Purrazzo is just the move she pulls off. She makes it look effortless. She
does. She really does. Everything that she does is just so slick.
Yeah,
it is really good. But you're right. ODB just hasn't lost a step. I mean, she's. Because I interviewed her probably about, it's got to be now 3 months ago, I guess. And, we talked a lot about, you know, because she talks about her age. You know, she was like, you know, I still work out. You know, I try and keep myself as fit as possible, but you know, I am getting older, so you know, the joints are a bit stiffer and a bit achier or whatever. But you know, and it's bound to you know, if you spend, you know, a vast majority of your life being knocked around a ring, well, you know, you're gonna have some aches and pains when you wake up in the morning. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
But she doesn't look like that when she's out there performing, and you know, I think she's just such a good performer. You totally are engaged with her character, and I think that is a real important thing about ODB. It's about engaging with her character and getting into that. But I thought, you know, it was definitely by no shadow of a doubt a very, very good title match. And again, you know, it's like I said, if you tuned in to watch ODB versus Gianna Peraza, I don't think you would turn it off. I think you'd watch it.
Yeah, I was so you know, I've actually forgotten what I was going to say. I don't think I was actually going to say anything relevant, to be honest.
Back into the void.
Yeah. Oh God, well, let's carry on. I'm just looking at how we're doing for time as well.
The empty space is taking you, isn't it? The empty space. So anyway, yeah, I think that was a great match. I really enjoyed it. Gianna again obviously retains the title. She's still the Knockouts champion and deservedly so. She is awesome. We then move backstage and we get a Scott D'Amore informs basically to Neil Dasher and Alicia that despite them wanting a singles match against one another, they're both going to be involved in a huge 12-person knockout tag match this Tuesday on Impact Wrestling. Now, of course, this obviously occurred on this past Tuesday. I like the way that he directed us to the to the website to find out, you know, a bit more about this match. I like that. That was good marketing.
Yeah.
The only thing was for me, like, not that I'm not a big fan of every single knockout member because I think they're all amazing. But I think because he was making you do that, I was expecting to go there and say find, you know, just one sort of kind of new knockout or something in the match.
Yeah, but it was the entire roster.
It was just basically the 12 knockouts that we've got going 6-on-6. You know, but there's nothing wrong with that because the match was still really good. And they're all great wrestlers. But I think I was just a little bit disappointed, I suppose. I was expecting to possibly see a new addition. You know what I mean?
I was on the same wavelength as well. I was thinking, could we see one other person, especially for Alicia Edwards on her side, you know, especially seeing after things fell out with Havoc and Nevada. So it was like those two aren't going to be going together. So could we see like the Sea-Stars return for a one-off or Killer Kelly and Manny Michelle? But yeah. Sadly, well, not. I mean that in the most polite way possible. Sadly, it wasn't how it came to pass. But the match this week was awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's always good to see Alicia Edwards back in the ring, regardless. You know, I've said it for a while. She's been overlooked for too long. She is the Scrappy Doo of the Impact Wrestling roster. You know, she will not take shit from anybody. She will fight anyone. She will back out as much as she can, and she's just so entertaining.
Yeah, no, I mean, I totally agree with that. Now, you know, I don't know why. I've got this thing in my head that I desperately want to see Killer Kelly turn up on Impact Wrestling. And I was like, oh, is it going to be Killer Kelly? Is it going to be Killer? Is she going to be in this one? So when I went to the website, I guess I found myself feeling a little bit disappointed on it. That was all. Only in the fact that I was just, I don't know, in my own head, I was expecting to see somebody else. But yeah, it was still a good match this past week on Impact. And if you haven't seen Impact yet, you need to get there and watch that because it was still a really good match. But yeah, so we then sort of kind of like flow nicely into the match 8, which is, you know, again, which turns out to be probably the biggest shock of the night, which is the Impact World Tag Title match, the Good Brothers versus New Japan's Finjuice. Now, we all went for Good Brothers on this because we were like, there is no way that the Good Brothers are going to lose the Impact Tag titles to non-signed talents. It's just not going to happen.
Boy, did we eat our words.
Man, shock of the night, mate. Shock of the night.
We came here for a lot of money.
exactly that. So we had lots of testosterone on display. I think there was plenty of one-upmanship going on from both teams. In my opinion, it was very evenly spread matchup though as well. I think it was a really good matchup. Carl Anderson, especially for me, I thought looked great in this match. So did David Finlay of Finjuice. I thought, for me, the two standout performers in this match was Carl Anderson and David Finlay. For me, I thought they were both fantastic in this match. And basically, after what was some pretty hard hitting offense from the big LG, when he comes out swinging, it. So some pretty badass, hard hitting offense from Gallows. Finjuice eventually connect the Doomsday device to get the pin on Anderson to become the new Impact Tag Champs. Now this blows my mind. So now a non-signed Impact talent, a New Japan Pro Wrestling talent, is walking around with the Impact Tag belts around their waists. Like
the Tucker belts.
It was just what? Just completely, is what happened in that moment in time. I never expected it. And if you were ever going to shock the wrestling world, there it was. What were your thoughts, brother?
I love this match. I've been a bit critical of the Good Brothers over the past couple of weeks because I've just not seen enough of them in the ring. Enough really well drawn up matches. This shut me up, and I've never been a harsh critic of them. I just wanted to see more from them, especially from the big LG. I wanted to see a bit more variety from him, and he showed me that variety in this match. And Finjuice, they were awesome. All their double team moves are good throwback references to classics like the Heart Foundation, and the Road Warriors. And this is something that D'Lo Brown and Matt Striker picked up on too. All the double team moves aren't just like made up out the blue. They're all throwback moves to the great tag teams of the past. So it's a great sign of respect from them. But even to see them win this match, it blew my mind. I did not think they would win at Sacrifice. If they were going to win these belts, I would have thought it would have been something at Rebellion, assuming that they would still be around Impact Wrestling at the time. But now, of course, that they've got the match at Rebellion now with the Good Brothers for the tag team titles. So we've still got that coming.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know whether they've been at the recent set of tapings, because I know that they sort of kind of like were off with New Japan Pro Wrestling literally the following day.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there was a thing there where they weren't carrying the belts, and he was sort of kind of like, well, that's another story. So I don't know what's happened there, but they didn't have the belts with them, so it'd be interesting to see where that one goes. But what we did see on this past week on Impact was a match with Triple XL, where they win. They're still carrying the belts at the moment. But where is this leading to?
Yeah.
What's going on? But like you say, we're going to have a repeat match at Rebellion. Now, I'm looking forward to that. I think the world should be looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a massive match. I do think that, I'm going to stay now. The Good Brothers will be winning that match. They'll be getting those belts back if they've not got them back beforehand. But I think that's going to be an amazing match. I'm really looking forward to it. And like I say, this was the biggest shock of the night. If you want to see, big surprises, then Impact Wrestling is the place to see it, because this shocked the hell out of me. That's all I got to say. This shocked the hell out of me. Now, where do you think it's going to go, though, Joe? I mean, where do you think this is going to go? Are we going to see more New Japan talents turn up on Impact Wrestling, or are we going to see Impact Wrestling talents turn up at New Japan?
There is rumors already circulating around Facebook that some Impact talent has gone to New Japan and is showing up there, but no names have been given. And I only skimmed through all the posts on Facebook, so I've not really looked into it or looked online on anything else about it. But it could guys who I could see going over there would be guys like Eddie Edwards, Ace Austin, possibly Moose and Rich Swann, or Willie Mack.
Eddie's obviously got a history, hasn't he, of performing in Japan. So I think, there is a potential to see Eddie go over there to New Japan. I think you're right. I mean, we've already got Chris Bay, who's taken part in the New Japan J Cup.
Thank you for forgetting to mention Chris Bay.
Of course, TJP, possibly. He's already performed at New Japan. So there's definitely, there's definitely a lot of potential talents they could turn up at New Japan. I definitely would be keen to see that. And of course, it's repping Impact Wrestling. They're going to turn up. They're going to be wearing their Impact Wrestling T-shirts. They're going to be selling the brand. That's the whole point, right?
Exactly.
They got to represent. So I'm looking forward to that. I've been seeing a few little bits online with regards to Jay White. Now that's someone I would love, the Switchblade, mate. I would love to see that guy turn up at Impact Wrestling at some point in the future. But again, could you imagine, someone like Eddie Edwards taking on Jay White? I mean, that would be amazing. That's one hell of a match in the making if that can happen. But some great matches there. But anyway, moving on, we've got match 9, which is obviously the main event of the night, the Impact TNA unification match between Rich Swann and the legend Moose, the wrestling god Moose. He and by God, was it again another incredible entrance from Moose, the man known as Moose. Is he not got one of the best entrances in pro wrestling today? I'm still going to go with Decay being the best, but Moose,
undoubtedly,
Moose's entrance is awesome, isn't it? Absolutely awesome.
Yeah, especially as his heel role has really progressed like it has, thanks to EC3. It's really added that intimidation factor that what you needed to see from a heel character, and Moose always seemed to be falling a bit short with it. But just that added bit of atmosphere before the whole music kicks in. It just that was just enough. And then Moose's promo skills changing, and how this match started, him just staring a hole through Rich Swann as he was coming down to the ring, rather than jumping out and attacking him or interrupting him as he comes into the ring. He let him walk in the ring and let all the belts and stuff be raised. Part of me was expecting him to just go out and try and pull his hair and stuff like he was doing throughout the match before the match got underway.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, definitely, without doubt. Now, listen, when we did the preview show, you went with Rich Swann, Steve went with Rich Swann, and I went with Rich Swann on this one. Interesting that, I think. The whole world thought Moose was going to win this except for us three.
Oh, the whole world wanted Moose to win, I think, and they just can't. But D'Lo Brown and Matt Striker brought this up in the match itself. Actually, that appearance just because Rich Swann doesn't look like a world champion doesn't mean he isn't a world champion. Long gone are the days that the big strong guys are the guys who represent the company. Rich Swann can pull off some of the most hardest hitting kicks any wrestler who'd be like 2 or 3 times his size in mass wise, not height wise, because he's pretty short. The whole world of wrestling has changed, and I've only been watching it for just over 20 years, and the dynamic of it has changed so much. And
only been watching it for 20 years.
Just about, yeah.
That's quite a long time, Joe.
Yeah, but the whole dynamic of it is really changed. It's not the big strong guys who will be holding the titles anymore. So and So seeing all the negativity coming from Rich Swann winning this match, it really did piss me off. Really, really did piss me off.
Yeah, no, I agree. Rich Swann for me is got world champion written all over him.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. It's interesting how many people are like, oh, Moose. It's just not realistic. Then you haven't been watching Rich Swann. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've not been watching Rich Swann matches if you think it's unrealistic.
The majority of the people that are criticizing Rich Swann were bitching about Moose being in the ring a year before.
Yeah, no, exactly. I totally agree with that.
And that's what pissed me off.
Going back to this match, without doubt for me, this was the match of the night. Now, I thought the X Division one was going to be the match of the night, but this just nipped it. In terms of the quality of the match, I thought the storytelling, I thought the in-ring psychology was just top-notch from both of these guys. So professional. The highlight for me in terms of move has to be the cutter from Rich Swann on Moose as Moose hits the step-up moonsault. Swann literally catches him in midair, to hit the cutter. For me, there's only one other man that can do a cutter like that, and that's Jake Christ. And I'm saying that this guy, that was one hell of a move. It was the move of the night. It was a highlight for me. It was fantastic.
Yeah, the timing on that was perfect. If that went wrong, it would have looked really sloppy. But he
did like the whole handstand into the ropes and everything, didn't he?
Yeah.
He came back up in the air, caught him, boom. It was just so good. It was so good. We end with Rich Swann getting the pin after Moose ends up going headfirst into a chair that he actually set up in the ring corner earlier in the match. So, and then, of course, Rich Swann becomes the unified world champion, and the right to face Kenny Omega at Rebellion in the title versus title main event. And if you're not excited about that, then you clearly don't have a pulse. So, what are your thoughts? I mean, what are your thoughts yes, Rich Swann wins the match. He's the unified title holder now. What are your thoughts on where this leads, Joe?
Cocktail hour, brother.
My thoughts on where it leads. Well, obviously, we know who his opponent's going to be. And Don Callis' promo this week was absolute gold dust. His mind games with Rich Swann, how he's the puppet master. He got Rich Swann into Impact Wrestling, and now I've been supporting you. I've been doing. But one wicked angel. I'm not gonna get past Kenny Omega.
Nobody taps out. Well, nobody taps out of the one-winged angel.
Well, Steve has already put a comment up saying that he thinks that we're going to see history being made at Rebellion, and that history being Rich Swann kicks out of the wrong-winged angel.
Yeah, I agree. I don't necessarily think he's going to win, but I think he will kick out from the one-winged angel. You're right. I think that's going to happen. Someone's going to have to kick out from that. I think that it's going to be Rich Swann. I think it's going to be one hell of a match. I'm really excited for it. And I think, like I said, if you're not excited for the main event of Rebellion, you ain't got a pulse, because I'm telling you now, that is going to be one hell of a match. I'm really excited to see how the road to Rebellion is gonna lead now. I honestly believe we're going to see some great build to some fantastic matches that's going to end up on that card over the coming weeks. It's going to be an amazing pay-per-view. I cannot wait for it to arrive. I just want to buy it now. I'm sold. The main event, the main event alone is worth the purchase. And of course, we know that we're potentially going to get Finn Juice and the Good Brothers as well. So again, two really, really great matches already booked up for this. Who's Deanna going to face? Who's going to be facing the Knockouts Tag Champs? Who's going to be, facing the X Division champion? I'm really, really excited to see where this road is going to take us now over the coming weeks leading up to Rebellion.
Yeah,
it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing.
This is going to be this. This is now really going to start bubbling up the AEW and Impact Wrestling rivalry, I think, a bit more.
I think you're right. I think it's going to be incredible. And of course, where are we going to go with regards to this New Japan thing? At the end of the day, Finn Juice are now, the Impact Tag Team Champs, and they were representing New Japan Pro Wrestling. So again, we're seeing this interpromotional stuff, and it's happening. Guys, it's happening. You need to be tuning into this stuff. You need to be watching it. History is being made week in, week out, pay-per-view in, pay-per-view out. You've got to be seeing this stuff. You've got to be tuning in. There you go, guys. I mean, that's our review of Sacrifice. I think it was absolutely a fantastic Impact Plus special.
Final thoughts, guys. Any final thoughts you want us to touch on? By all means, drop them in the comments, and let's see what you got to say.
Absolutely.
Perfect time to give an assessment on the pro wrestling industry and where we all stand.
Impact Wrestling,
the number one. Impact Wrestling, the number one.
Exactly. Impact Wrestling, number one. Impact Wrestling, number one. Exactly. Anyway, guys, don't forget to sub the channel, and don't forget to give that bell a little tickle. You never get to miss any of the great content from the TNI US. And of course, TNI UK, where can we find you on the socials, Joe?
You can follow me on Twitter at JOKEmptyspace. You can jump onto the little book of faces, look for hashtag Daily Giggle, hashtag Empty Space, hashtag The Void. You want to laugh, or if you want to step into a strange place, lose a bit of sanity.
The Void?
And step into the void.
Where are we going with this?
Where aren't we going?
Exactly. If you're looking to find me, I am at Lord Bison 45 on Twitter. That's where I do most of my wrestling talking. My Facebook is more my personal stuff, although you will see me posting impacted stuff, total non-stop impact stuff all over the wrestling groups. So please give me a like on Twitter. I generally like people back as well. So
likes and licks back.
I definitely give lots of Bison licks, that's for sure. Somebody was after a Bison lick earlier. I'm not sure who that was, but I definitely enjoy giving out Bison licks. So if you want one of those, you let me know. I'll be happily to oblige. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much it for us. I mean, this has been our very first live Impacted, and we hope you've enjoyed being a part of this. This is a first from the TNI UK team. And I think we've enjoyed it as well. Joe, have you enjoyed it?
I have, yeah. They're asking already about the if we're going to do the next live one. If it's next week, I'm not sure, but I've no doubt that we got Hardcore Justice coming, and we got obviously we got Rebellion next month as well. So I'm sure in between one of those two, we'll be definitely be going live for one of them. But,
I'm sure there will be a few more live shows in the pipeline.
Obviously, follow along on Twitter. Follow Total Nonstop Impact on Twitter and on Facebook and that, and we'll keep you up to date if we're going live again. I enjoyed this so much. I've been reading all the comments down at the bottom, and you guys have really put a smile on my face.
There's been some fun ones coming up. Yeah, man. Yeah. They definitely deserve a too sweet. That's all I've got to say.
Yeah, it's
Joe, we could do our own too sweet. Hang on, how do we figure this out? So we're going that way. Come on, get it in there. Come on.
That's my power.
Okay, so let's get some too sweets in there as well, because we are the good brothers of TNI. Joe and I. He's my brother from another mother. That's a fact. So don't forget to get a couple of too sweets in there. If you're able to record yourself doing a bakra, we want to get some of those in there. Get that on Twitter. It would be great to see some of those. I really look forward to that. So it's been really, really great interacting with you guys tonight, and we're looking forward to doing it again in the future. With all that said, as I said, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, sub the channel, tickle the bell so you never miss a listen. We are available YouTube, Twitch, Spotify, SoundCloud. We were talking about Apple, iTunes, everywhere, all over the place. Wherever you find podcasts, that's where we are. So make sure that you tune in, make sure you find us, tickle all the buttons, so you never miss anything from us. And don't forget to do the at We Talk Impact. Don't forget to follow Total Nonstop at We Talk Impact on Twitter as well. So again, don't miss any of the content from the team. Don't forget we've got the live reviews, the Total Nonstop Impact live review directly after the show on Tuesdays. We've got the throwback show going on. I believe that's Wednesdays. So there's lots of stuff going on. TNI UK every Friday, because #Fridays belong to us without shadow of a doubt.
Hey, sir, I just read your comment there. Thank you very much.
I missed that one. What was it?
Oh, it's just saying that we've done a fantastic job. High praise. There we go. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. We really appreciate it. And like I said, if Trent is happy for us to go live again, I'm sure we'll do it. But this has been our first go, and we've really enjoyed it. So thank you ever so much, guys, for joining us today. With that said, I've been Bison. He has been the Joker, and this has been episode 24 of Impacted. Take care, everyone.